Hey, good doc. Back again, once again. Let's go ahead and lock in. Beard or no beard? That is the question. Do Filipinas like guys with beards or do they prefer guys with no facial hair? When I was posed this question in a live stream probably about a couple weeks ago, I was kind of stumped because I can never recall an experience wherein I ever heard of a Filipina turning down a guy because he had facial hair, right? Now, full transparency, full disclosure. For those of you who are not in the know, who seem to ask Doc random questions about why he doesn't have eyebrows or why he doesn't have hair and shit like that. I've had alopecia since I was 6 years old, right? Let me go ahead and clear the room on that one for anybody who's been asking that damn question or been thinking it but afraid to ask it. That's your answer. I had alopecia since I was 6. So I was never blessed with even the ability to be able to grow facial hair even if I wanted to, right? I've been smoothing in a baby's ass for as long as I can remember, right? I don't really grow hair. I don't have no hair. Your boy smooth. That's all I can say. So when I was posed this question, coming from the perspective of a guy who can't grow facial hair, anytime that I've ever seen a guy with a beard in the Philippines, I never really saw them struggle with women. But it does seem to bring about a deeper topic of conversation that I would love to lock in on if we can do so in this particular video. Now, from the Western perspective, from the Western world, beards and things, full grown beards are considered masculine, right? You got beards, you got facial hair, you're a real man's man. At least that's kind of the general energy that is given off when it comes to guys with full grown facial hair and beards. Filipinos can grow goatees, but I've never seen full beards. But I have seen guys been able to grow like a little peach fuzz and some goatees and shit. But I've never really seen a guy with a full-grown beard in the Philippines. And if you ask me, do I believe Filipinos prefer guys with beards or without beards? Preferential treatment, preferences only. I would say they prefer guys with no facial hair. Any Filipino that I've ever talked to since I've actually since this particular topic of conversation has been brought to my attention, I've heard that it's not so much that they would not talk to guys with facial hair, but it is somewhat of a turnoff to a lot of them. And it surprised the hell out of me when I was like, why is it a turnoff? They were like, well, guys with beards, like when you go in to kiss and whatnot, it tickles. And, facial hair tendency, apparently, it tickles your faces and shit or whatever. And a lot of girls in the Philippines, at least, they don't necessarily prefer it, right? And also, guys, I will tell you this for any guy who's never been to the Philippines, again, me not knowing how beards work, all right? So let me make sure I preface that by saying this before I say the statement that I'm about to say. But when it comes to the Philippines, I've noticed that a lot of guys, even my brothers who have dreadlocks and stuff like that, if you're going to be in the Philippines for a significant period of time, I've learned that because of how hot and humid it is, first of all, it becomes very hard to maintain and care for facial hair and dreads and shit, and it makes you sweat profusely. Like, again, I don't know what it is to have full grown beards and like facial hair and how your body reacts to it in hot and humid climates, but I can almost guarantee it's probably not comfortable. It's probably gonna make your face sweat, right? No different than guys who have a lot of hair, in the Philippines, hot and humid climate, not being able to care for it appropriately or being able to do the things that you need to do with it. It could definitely lead to a lot of guys, and I've seen this happen, a lot of guys either trimming off and or taking their beard off completely. And if you guys have dreads or like a lot of hair, usually finding a way to just for the sake of this video, just cutting it all off or cutting it to a low cut. So that's what I have seen a lot of guys do whenever they do enter a hot, humid, tropical climate like the Philippines. So whether you believe your facial hair is your identity or, the way you wear your hair is your identity, I will say that I have noticed that, a lot of girls nowadays, at least Filipinas that I've heard of, they won't necessarily turn their backs on you and be like, I don't want to date you because you got facial hair. But it's not necessarily something that turns a lot of Filipinos on, right? It's not something that they look for in their men to an extent. Like I said, a lot of Filipinos can't really grow full grown beards even if they wanted to. So because they're not used to it, because they don't see it in their own men, chances are it might be unique in the beginning. It might be an interesting talking point in the beginning of the relationship, but as it starts to become an inconvenience of sorts, when you're trying to, make out with your girl or whatever, or, whatever it is that you're doing that could potentially cause your whiskers to, get in the way of you getting some action. Filipinas have not been, shy about at least expressing the emotion of, the beard not being something that they're quite fond of. So I hope that in some way, shape, or form this video answered that question, beard of no beard. That is the question. Again, I know that beards are usually a trademark of masculine men in the United States or in the Western world, and that's kind of how a lot of girls see guys who have beards. And in the Western world, yeah, beards are 100% acceptable. I've kind of never really, as long as you maintain it and keep it together, I've never really heard of girls in the Western world shying away from that. But in the Philippines, in the East, it could definitely be quite the opposite. That's just something that I want to at least bring to the table. Maybe you guys have had experiences if you are a bearded individual, got your shit out here looking like James Harden or whatever. If you do keep a full grown beard, I would love to hear if you've ever been to the Philippines, what your experiences were like. That would definitely enlighten me a little bit and will definitely add to the conversation in the comment section below. But like I said, I know goatees and stuff, like little peach fuzz, little facial hair up here, a little something, a little chinny chin or whatever. And I don't think that's enough for you to really have any issues, but we're talking about full grown beards, like, full facial hair, like where it's obvious and evident that, you trying to grow in some, some real stuff. So, gentlemen, let me know how your experiences have gone. I would love to hear it. Ladies, Filipinas, if you feel like, I'm not really interested in the guys with beards, or if you actually don't mind it, I would love to hear what you young ladies, I should say, have to say about dating guys with beards. If you've done it before, let me know what the experience was like, or is it a preference? Do you not necessarily prefer it? I would love to hear what you guys have to say. All right, this concludes the video. I don't think I have anything else to add to it. I appreciate y'all time, appreciate your effort, appreciate your energy. If you're new to the channel, if you guys haven't already subscribed, y'all make sure y'all do so. Doc is out.